Hi, I'm Ella and welcome to MVM. Today I'm giving you a Kickstarter preview of Infinity Defiance by Corvus Belli. So for some of you, Infinity might ring a bell. Infinity is a tabletop war game set in a sci-fi universe where miniatures engage in skirmishes. Now Infinity Defiance is its dungeon crawler sibling, which is set in the same universe. All the metal miniatures in this game are fully compatible with Infinity. So this is a 1 to 4 player game that plays in about 45 to 60 minutes. In this cooperative game, you're going to play a group of heroes who are in a commando unit, who have been tasked by the human nations to stop alien invaders. You are engaging in a suicide mission to save all of the human race. In a 4-player game, each player will be controlling their own hero, while in a solo game, you control all 4. Through several missions, you're going to play out this fight to prevent a wormhole that is being built that will help the aliens launch a full-scale attack. In the several missions that you play, the heroes will gain new skills and access to better equipment. So because this is a Kickstarter preview, all the components that you see are in prototype form, which says a lot about what the final game will look like if the prototype already looks like this. I am playing with a demo mission called The Rescue of VALKYRIE. So you're at a military installation and you hear a series of explosions. Next thing you know, you're being told to rescue a high-value target asset named VALKYRIE. You have to fight the enemies to get to her, free her, and bring her to a ship and fly her away. All of that plays out on a modular board, and you configure this according to what mission you're on. So you're going to prep the tile board, then players will choose a character to play with. In this preview, we play with starting 4 characters: Uma, Kaden, Chiang, and Jasmine. Each character has a character card that you place in your play area, and you begin with starting equipment specified on the card. For example, these slots are the character's hands and she's carrying 2 pistols. The other slots are for her headgear and armor. The equipment in these slots are considered equipped. Those not equipped fit into these backpack slots specified. Then you will build a selected units deck, which has the enemies you might be facing, and each mission will tell you which cards you need in the deck. In this demo mission, we have Nox Hacker, Nox Spec Ops, Nox Leader, Cadmus, and Guelos. Now you build the available units deck by taking No Hacker from the selected units deck. All heroes and enemy miniatures are placed on the board. They then become deployed units. Now to play the mission. First, you read out the introductory text to all players that puts your character in context. Then you might have to modify the game configuration according to the mission. So the mission plays over a series of rounds, and each round has 3 phases: start, activation, and the end phase. In the start phase, if you have effects that indicate they are applied at the beginning of the round, you do them at this phase. Then you go through the activation phase, which is the meat of the game. In this phase, each character performs up to 2 actions that you can repeat, from move, attack, hack, equip, and interact. Actions alternate between characters and the enemy units. Then they can perform any action described on their character card, specialty cards, software card loaded on their hacking device, and equipment. Then you go into free actions which don't count against the numbers of actions allowed. So if you want to move a character, they have movement points according to the speed value, which is shown on their character card, the symbol that looks like boots. You spend these movement points at any time during the activation phase, meaning you can move 3, attack, then move 3 again if you have 6 speed. Now, movement can also be affected by the type of space you're going into. Sometimes you may need more than 1 movement point to go through a space, like going through an enemy space. When you attack, you choose one of the attacks on your weapons your character has equipped, and determine if you have line of sight, which is tracing a line from the corner of an attacker's hex to the corner of the space occupied by the target. If you are not obstructed by walls, closed doors, purple or red borders, and spaces occupied by other minis, then you can calculate if the target is within range. The value is also specified on the weapons card, otherwise you will have to move before you attack. That said, there are some weapons that specify if line of sight is needed, which are specified by the symbols on the weapon card. Then you resolve the attack with a face-to-face roll. The attacker rolls the dice indicated by the attack roll of the weapon being used, while the defender uses dice indicated by their defense attribute. Both rolls are combat rolls, which means they can be modified by equipment cards. When you roll the dice, both the attacker and defender activate switches. So what are switches? Each time you roll, you get a series of symbols on the dice. You spend these symbols to activate effects on equipment cards, software cards, and specialty cards. You can repeat the switch as many times as you want, just as long as you have enough symbols to spend. Then after activating switches, the attacker blocks as many successes from the enemy's roll with shields, and vice versa with the enemy. Whatever remains unblocked means you get damage token. Now this system presents interesting decisions in terms of how you spend those symbols, depending on the weapons, software, and specialty cards that you have. So it's not just a straightforward success or loss, it really depends what you activate. During activation, you also have the option to hack. Characters are equipped with a hacking device that can perform one of the actions described on the software cards that are installed on their device. Range is needed for hacking, but not line of sight. So the hacking roll indicates how many dice you're rolling. This can be modified by software cards or other skills or effects that are currently being used. So this is a face-to-face roll, but using the hacking value on the device and the biotech protection on the target. Success symbols are then cancelled out with the block symbols, and whatever is left over is damage. There is also the equipment action, which allows you to distribute equipment, while interact allows you to interact with different elements of the mission. For example, containers, doors, etc., or to interact with neutral characters. There's also the Auto Med Kit, which is an activation only available to unconscious characters. Use an available Auto Med Kit to remove an unconscious state card, and this heals up to 8 damage. Then the character suffers a consequence, which means they draw 2 consequence cards and chooses one which they then place next to their character card. Now for the neat part of the game, the AI deck that controls the enemies when they activate. The AI makes the solo or cooperative gameplay viable. It handles enemies' actions without the players needing to intervene. So each enemy card is double-sided, with an easy and difficult side. AI instructions will always be composed of at least 2 icons. The first one tells you what action the enemy unit is going to perform, and the second will be their target. The actions are performed in order and are carried out one by one and independently. For example, it may be the case that the first action asks us to move the enemy towards a character, but the next action specifies that we attack a different one. When you have activated all characters and enemies alternately, then you go to the end phase. During this phase, all effects that are indicated to be applied at the end of the round are applied. Then you untag all character cards used and check if the alert level reaches maximum. Now there are certain things that increase the alert level, like when the AI deck is empty and has to be reshuffled, and when stated in the mission instructions. So that's dependent on what mission you are in. In this demo mission, the alert level is moved to 1 when you open the security door and take the card of the elite bodyguard VALKYRIE. Then, you check if enemies respawn in certain areas, check if there are units on the board with replacements value, which will redeploy one of the miniatures as close to another miniature of the same unit as possible. Then you start the round over and try to meet the mission objectives, and the characters receive intel packs according to how well or badly you achieve those objectives. These packs represent the experience gained by the characters, which act as currency to trade for new equipment. They are personal though and can't be traded around with other characters. Now this is a game that is easy to play. The rules are pretty straightforward, but I feel it'd be hard to master given the puzzles that each mission will bring, and the different combinations of skills that you can tinker with to maximize how well you finish the missions will also be a puzzle. And that was a Kickstarter preview for Infinity Defiance. Please do check this out, even if only for the components, which are amazing. I've never seen a prototype this good, so I wonder how much better the final version will be. The publishers have said that they have years of experience making these minis, given Aristea and Infinity, and they said they're not outsourcing the production, so they promised that the quality will be the same as in the original Infinity. The sculpts are no joke, and they're hoping to make unique minis for each alien. Now, that said, I've been paid for this preview, so take everything I say with a grain of salt and just check out the Kickstarter to decide for yourself. So again, this is Ella. If you like this video, please leave a comment. I really look forward to reading them. And please give this a thumbs up. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Man vs. Meeple. You can also follow me on my personal account, Ella Loves Board Games, on Instagram and Facebook. See you next time.